Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this huge, awesome, modern hotel. And before you think to yourselves, oh, I can't build that, that looks insane. It's actually quite easy to make. I've made it very, very simple for you guys to make this along with me. Hopefully, it shouldn't cause you guys too much trouble. I hope you guys enjoyed the look of this one because it did take quite a while to make and design, and I'd really appreciate it. If you do like the video, please do smack that like button. It'd really help me out. Plus, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. If you subscribe, say hello down there in the comment section and click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. But let me show you this hotel before I actually show you how to make it. So, you've seen the outside of it. It's quite big. It's quite nice looking. So, the way that you enter the hotel is on the front right hand corner of the build. You have a choice of two entrances. This is the lobby of the hotel. We have a waiting area here, just in case you're waiting for a room. We have this lovely fish tank that you can barely see, but you might even be able to see the fish in there. Yeah, they're very happy in there, although they do appear to be dead. This is the welcome desk. This is where you'd sign in. This is where you'd get your room. We have another place to sit and enjoy ourselves. Here we even have a little bar down here in the lobby if you wanted to get a drink. The way that you navigate the hotel is through a lift or an elevator, however you want to say it. We have an elevator, kind of like elevator, air quotes, elevator on the right hand side of the build. This allows you to walk up and down the floors, but if you wanted to, you could have some solid stairs put into your hotel if you wanted to navigate the build a little bit differently. But I kind of like this. It's not a working elevator. If you can make yourself like a redstone elevator, like an actual working one, then go ahead, but mine's obviously just a ladder. Each one of the rooms are this big. So this is the room. It has about enough room in there for a bed, a TV in front of the bed. You have a little bit of a storage area left and right. Obviously, you can do whatever you want with these rooms, which is why I didn't go too crazy. The main thing is the bed, of course, because it is a hotel, which we have right here. And then you can just do whatever you want with all of the other rooms. We even have a lovely balcony that you can walk from. In just about every single one of the rooms, there's only one room, as a matter of fact, that does not have a balcony, which is the first room, the first floor, although you do have a little bit more of a living space. And every single other one of the floors are identical. When you get all the way up to the roof, you could even put a helipad up here, completely up to you. And just to show you the rest of this place, we have another way to get on top of the hotel and into the hotel. If you're already booked in, if you're already checked in, you can walk up these stairs on the left hand side of your hotel, which also gives you access to the terrace here, which has a nice swimming pool. You can sit and relax. You can go and grab a drink downstairs. You could even convert this into another bar, the first room of the hotel, but it also gains you access to all of the hallways and therefore all of the floors as well. So it's a pretty decently set out hotel. It looks great. It can be made as big as you like. You can have as many floors as you want. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this one. So without any further ado, I've already begged for a like and a sub. Why don't I actually show you how to make this? Please do remember that if you enjoy this thing, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Let me show you how to make this though. So, if you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some block of quartz, some quartz stairs, some quartz slabs, some cyan hardened clay, blue stained glass block, and some blue stained glass pane. And that will build you the majority of your hotel. If you plan on doing things like individual rooms, and the lobby, and the swimming pool, stuff like that, then you'll obviously need more things. But to actually build the building, this is all you need. Now, once you have each one of these materials, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'll be making it right here. And by the way, I can tell you that this hotel will fit in a 27 block, that's 27 blocks coming across the front, by a 41 block, that is 41 blocks going towards the back of this area. That is what the hotel will fit into, a 27 by 41 block area. If you want to better plan out your build, I would suggest highly that you make this same rectangular shape in your world as I have here. Now, if you do that, you want to start on the very front left-hand corner of the rectangle, and you want to move into the right from this corner by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks, and then you want to move inwards by 1, 2, 3 blocks. And then if you do that, we will be building the hotel in the exact same place. So it's up to you whether you want to do that. Begin on top of this block by doing a row of 12 quartz slabs going right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Place another slab on top of that 12th slab, and then move to the right and leave a gap of 2 in the ground. Then place another quartz block. Extend the quartz block to the right by 4 with the slabs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn that slab into a block and turn sideways. Go right of this quartz block that we have right here by 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn that fourth slab into a block. Leave a gap of 2 in the ground. Place another quartz block. Then move right of that block by 30 with your slab. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 blocks. Turn that 30th block into an actual quartz block. Turn it from a slab to a block. Look back at what you've just made, and then move to the right of this block that you've just created by 18 with your slabs. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Turn that 18th block into a turn that 18th slab into a block, and then go right of that by 2 with the blue stained glass pane. 1, 2. Create another quartz block. Then you want to take this quartz block that we have right here, and you can actually use quartz blocks for this. You don't have to use slabs. Take this quartz block and extend it forwards. You actually want to keep extending it forwards and forwards and forwards and forwards until you will line up with where you very first started, here. Connect it back to where you first started. So you want to end up with a shape that should look pretty much exactly like that. Now, once you've got that sorted out, we can now begin making some more details to the hotel. So, basically, you want to come all the way back to where you very first started. It's this very first slab. On top of this slab, add another slab, but then add 3 additional quartz blocks on top of this. So that's 1, 2, and 3, like that. You then want to extend this quartz block to the right using quartz slabs, and you want to extend it to the corner of your hotel, to the front corner. And then you can actually connect it down using your quartz slabs. So you want to have something which should look like this. You can also take the 2 positions in which we place quartz blocks on the ground, and you can extend these upwards using a mixture of quartz blocks and quartz slabs. Something else you might want to do is extend those blocks further upwards with an additional quartz block like this, and you can even do the same with where we first started. So you can see that where we have the pillars of quartz attaching down to the ground, you want to have an additional quartz block stacked on top of them. This is where the entrance is going to be. Add an additional row of quartz slab just in this position right here, in between these 2 rows of quartz connecting down to the ground. Come to the right hand side of the build, and what we now want to do is we want to take this quartz block that we extended down to the ground, we want to take this block and extend a row of quartz slabs coming towards the back of the build, and we want to connect these slabs downwards to the back corner of the hotel, once again using a mixture of quartz slabs and quartz blocks. So we want to have this. Once you have that sorted, we now want to come to where we have these 2 sticky up quartz blocks. We want to connect them upwards, once again using a mixture of slab and quartz, and we want to extend those once again further upwards by 1 block. And as this is an additional entrance, we want to add a layer of quartz slab just here to form kind of like H shapes, like this. Quite easy. Once you've got that sorted, we can now move our way to the back of the build, right here. So we're going to come to the back of the build now, and we want to, once again, extend a row of quartz slab across the back of the build from the corner block, and we want to connect it down to this first quartz block that we have here. So connect it downwards like this to finish the shape, like that. Then go up on top of this corner quartz block at the back by 3. 1, 2, and 3, like this. And then we actually want to extend this block forwards. And you can extend this block forwards using your block of quartz. You don't have to use slabs for this bit. You can extend it all the way forwards, and it wants to connect downwards in this fashion, like that. So you want to connect that block downwards. And you can, as a matter of fact, fill in this entire row that we have right here. You can completely fill this row in with your block of quartz. So just do that. It'll work out fine. It'll look great. So just fill that in like that. That's wonderful. Now that you've got that sorted out, this is what we are going to do next. So, we have to make this once again look a little bit nicer. The way that we're going to do this is we're going to take out our cyan hardened clay. We're going to come inside of what we've made, and on the front of the build, we want to take, wherever we have quartz slab, we want to place cyan hardened clay directly behind that slab. So that applies at the top and the bottom. We want to place cyan hardened clay directly behind the quartz slab. So this wants to wrap all the way around, and it wants to come all the way around to the back part of your hotel as well. You'll have to do it at the top, you'll have to do it a bit at the bottom, and we will clean it up once we have placed it. So primarily, we want to make it so that the cyan hardened clay is present behind the 2 rows of quartz slab, and then we want to clean it up so that everything functions together. So we even have to place it in this corner here down at the bottom. So from the outside, the look you're looking for is this. We want to have something which should look like that from the outside. It also creates a nice pattern on the top, like this. So you actually want to keep that pattern going. So wherever you have breaks, just place a row of it going all the way around the top. We also have to find a way to connect things together. So as you can see, or as you will learn, in between, okay, this is better. Place rows of blue stained glass pane in between the cyan hardened clay. So wherever you can, place layers of blue stained glass pane in between the layers of cyan hardened clay. And after you've done this, you'll find that you'll have to make it so that the glass grips onto another block. So if you place the glass in between the 2 parallel rows of cyan hardened clay, avoid doing it around the doors at the moment, although we will be sorting that in just a minute. But we want to place the glass, and then you'll figure out very quickly like where you've got to fix it, because if you place the glass just in between the cyan hardened clay like this, you'll notice that it doesn't grip in a lot of places. So you then have to figure out where you have to place rows of like block of quartz, for instance. Rows of block of quartz to like connect it together. You might have to do it just behind the entrance here. And then you'll be like, where we have the entrance, what do we fill this little bit in with? So if you place some like glass block where the entrance is, just underneath the cyan, then you won't have a problem with where to place gripping pane, or you won't have a problem with like how do you make the pane grip. Like if you place it behind here, then you'll have a problem, and it'll look a little bit weird underneath. But if you have solid glass block, it just looks a little better. So you also want to place some block of quartz here. Have we got anywhere else to place it? Yeah, if you come all the way back here, then it has nowhere to go. So basically, wherever you have a problem where the glass isn't going anywhere, if it isn't gripping onto anything, then place the quartz, and then it will have somewhere to go. Or if you don't want to use quartz, use more cyan hardened clay. It's really up to you what sort of feeling you're going for, to be completely honest with you. Now, what I'm going to do is, can you see where we have the 2 rows of cyan hardened clay on the front and the back. It's kind of like a reverse C, right? Well, I'm going to take the cyan hardened clays on the front and the back, and I'm going to connect them together at the top. So I want to connect them together at the top like this. So the row of cyan hardened clay will run completely from the front of the hotel to the back of the hotel. We then want to have a very similar deal with this row of block of quartz. We want it to run from the front of the hotel to the back of the hotel like this. Then we also want a similar deal with cyan hardened clay. We actually want a row of cyan hardened clay that runs all the way from the front of the hotel to the back of the hotel, and this is in between the two rows that we've just made, so coming from the front to the back. And something else that we will also have to do is we will have to make the little staircase that we have. And if you like, actually, you know what, let me just make sure I've done that correctly. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So I'm actually going to just knock out those two last cyan hardened clays, and we're going to place a quartz slab there instead. Just to give it a nicer finish when the hotel's finished. You won't recognize it now, but later on it will look a little bit nicer. You can even add more blue stained glass pane back here, if you like. That will eventually connect up to the top of the building, and it will look good. So, this hotel also has kind of like an elevator that runs up the side of the hotel. It looks a little something like this. So, if you're on the left-hand side of the building, you're on the back left-hand corner, you move in to the right by 2, 1, 2, and do 2 cyan hardened clay coming out of the side of the hotel, 1, 2. Then do 2 bottom right diagonals as if you're looking down, 1, 2. Move to the right by 2, 1, 2. Then do 2 upper right diagonals, 1, 2, connect back. Then take this center block in this row of 3, extend it up by 3, 1, 2, and 3. Place glass, 2 rows of glass on top of every single other cyan hardened clay that you have. Then place a layer of cyan hardened clay on top of the glass. So, what you will end up with should look like this. And then later on, I'm actually going to be placing some block of quartz left and right inside of this, and that is where the ladder will run up to, like, up the lift, up the elevator. So it'll look like that. And as that elevator gets bigger, as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it'll just look like that, but repeated. I'll show you guys that later. And you'll obviously want to be able to access the lift, so you might want to destroy a few rows so that you can actually get in and out like that. But that's kind of up to you. So once you've got that sorted out, we can now take care of the little staircase on the front of the hotel. So the staircase is actually here, where we have this hole at the front of the hotel. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the stairs for this. We're actually going to start it here. It's the second or the very first quartz slab that we have here, and we're going to extend it outwards by 2 with the stairs. So that's 1, 2. Then we're going to place a block of quartz. We're going to move that block of quartz outwards towards the left of the hotel, and then connect it to the hotel, like this. The next conundrum is figuring out how we connect these stairs up to here. So we could destroy a few rows of this cyan, and place a couple of rows of stairs moving downwards like this. We could do that, and then we could simply place like a layer of cyan hardened clay down there. That looks great. Or you could do it in any various number of manners. I'm going to place another block of quartz here in this position. Then I'm going to raise up this corner block with the block of quartz, and I'm going to raise up this block with block of quartz like this, and then I'm going to fill the outer part of this in with blue stained glass pane. And that way we have a nice little staircase, very simple to make, and it's very, very easy to it just fits in well with the hotel. It looks quite nice. So we want to have something which should look a little bit like that. Once that is taken care of, the next thing we're going to do, and this is a little bit painful, Oh, it's so painful. We have to fill in the entire top of this part of the hotel. So, fill in the top of this hotel with quartz block. So, it's basically just the flat part where all of the stuff is going to go. So, it's where the pool's going to be, it's where the first floor is going to be. That's where this is. That's basically where this is. And in a little bit, we'll be adding a row of cyan hardened clay in here that will kind of like separate things for us a bit, which I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in a second. But we want to basically fill the entire top of this in with block of quartz, and that'll kind of put a lid on the base part of the hotel. Like, that'll be the lower part done, and then what we'll have to do with the next part of the hotel is we will have to create the repeatable part. So the part that, like, where all of the rooms are, all of the hallways, is highly repeatable. You can continue it forever. Like, you can make this thing like 20 stories tall, or you could make it 50, 100, etc, etc. You can make it as big as you want. So once this bit is done, and once we've got the first floor taken care of, you can repeat the second floor over and over and over again to make the hotel as large as you like. I think that mine is probably going to have, say, about 9 floors. I like an odd number of floors. I don't know why. I might even make it 13 floors just for the fun of it. But we'll see in just a moment. We have, however, got to continue filling this in with block of quartz. It takes quite a while. We only have a few more rows of it to do, but does it take forever? This hotel, as a matter of fact, it takes a long time. It does. It's not hard to make, but it takes a long time to make, unfortunately. I wish it was a little bit faster, to tell you guys the truth, but it isn't. So what can you do? So we'll continue doing this over and over again, and boom, there we go. So we've now filled in the floor with block of quartz. That's the base of the hotel. Looks great. Now we have to figure out all of the floors. If you come to the back of the hotel, and you come to the very back corner, like this, if you then take this back corner block, extend this corner block upwards by 4 with the block of quartz, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then extend it to the right by 7 with the quartz slab. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then extend that down to the ground using your block of quartz. Then take the same block that you just extended down to the ground, go right by 11 with the slabs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then extend that block downwards using your quartz. Then, leaving a gap of 2, you want to take this corner block on the opposite side of your hotel. You want to extend it upwards by 4 with the quartz block. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then extend this coming towards the front of the hotel using your quartz block this time. You don't have to use slab by 22. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. We then want to take this 21st or 22nd block and extend it down to the ground like this. Then we want to take this block and we want to extend it to the right using your quartz slab by 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, that's coming across the front of the hotel. Connect it downwards using a series of quartz slab and quartz block. Then extend it to the right by 11 using your quartz slab, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Connect that down to the ground using a series of quartz blocks and quartz slab again, like this. Then we want to extend the same block to the right by a further 7, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend that block down to the ground once again using a series of quartz blocks and quartz slabs like this, and then connect it backwards using a layer of quartz slabs this time. So I know it's a little bit complicated remembering when to use like quartz slabs and quartz blocks, but we want to have a framework which should look a little bit like that. So once you've got that sorted out, what we're now going to do is we are going to add in some additional details. So we want to take out our cyan hardened clay and we want to extend up this row of cyan hardened clay that sits inside of this layer of quartz. We want to extend this up and we want it to sit behind and inside of this layer of quartz. So just to show you, we want to have a row of cyan hardened clay that extends upwards from the ground and extends up and sits inside of the cyan of the quartz layer like this. And we want to have the same thing just to the right. It wants to sit inside of the quartz that we have like this. It just wants to sit inside of it like so. We want to have the same thing on the back. So on the back we also want to have the cyan hardened clay sit inside of the quartz like this. And it just wants to kind of like it just wants to sit inside the quartz framework and it will just look quite nice like that. We also have to connect it together, so we want to connect the bit that will be inside together. We want to connect the layer of cyan hardened clay from the front to the back. This is going to form a wall that is present throughout the entire build, and that is how you get in and out of the rooms, typically. This ground floor one actually has 2 exits, but all of the other floors only have 1, so you want to fill that wall in. We also now want to fill in, first of all, in the ground, we want to connect the rows of cyan together in the ground. So we want to connect it together like this. So it forms a row of cyan hardened clay that goes all the way through the bottom of the hotel. It will just look a little bit like that. It looks a bit nicer. It keeps things a little bit better connected together. And then we have to then fill in this little entrance area. So where we have this kind of like archway of cyan hardened clay, we want to put a quartz block frame around this like that. We want to do a layer of quartz block left and right inside of the rows of cyan, yet 1 row outwards, and then we want to connect them together at the top using quartz slab, and then we want to place something behind that, so like blue stained glass block, kind of like this. That looks quite nice, and you could even then place like a quartz block to the left and right of this, because we're going to have doors here. So whether you want your doors to be made out of something different is completely up to you, but like 2 iron doors or something in those positions look alright. Then I'm going to fill all of the other areas of this floor in using blue stained glass pane or blue stained glass block. Or if you feel as though some rooms need a little bit more privacy in some places, then I would highly recommend that you add something that gives them a bit more privacy. So for instance, if you wanted to add a bathroom to your hotel, then I would separate the floors in such a way that you can add a bathroom. Like I would put some more solid walls about the place. So I'm just going to fill this side in. We also have to connect the cyan hardened clay together on the right. So just from an aerial view, which might be the best way to do it, the floor wants to look like this, and we want to fill in between the cyan hardened clay, like I said, using some blue glass. So I'm just going to place the blue glass here, and a lot of this hotel is nice and open. That's why there's so much glass. It's nice, it's modern, it's light, it's open, it's wonderful. So the floors should look a little something like that. So that's floor number 1. Pretty much. It wants to look like this. Something that I might have neglected, if you add more and more floors, you obviously also have to extend the elevator. The elevator is very simple. If you start with the back center part of the elevator, the very middle of it, if you extend it up with your cyan hardened clay, and if you then make sure that that row of cyan hardened clay is in line with the floor that it is connecting to, and then add rows of glass on top of all of the other surrounding cyan hardened clays. You'll probably have to add about 3 rows of glass. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So the glass does not want to come up as high as the cyan hardened hardened clay, because we then want to, once we've added our rows of glass, we want to add cyan hardened clay going around our elevator, like this. We are then free to extend up the quartz block inside of the elevator and also extend up the ladders. So from the outside view, it looks like this, and from the inside view, it looks like that. And of course, if you want to add in floors, then feel free to add, or if you want to add in a solid floor to the elevator, then feel free to do that so you can actually walk in and step off of it. Something else to bear in mind is the elevator has to connect to the floors themselves, so maybe use a layer of cyan hardened clay to actually connect to the floors, or maybe a layer of block of quartz. You'll also have to fill this side of the hotel in with glass pane. So we have to fill this side of the hotel in with glass pane. We'll have to do, basically, wherever there's two rows that are parallel to each other, typically speaking, it's usually glass pane that you want to fill them in with. You can then take the back of the hotel and you can extend up this row of glass pane that you have at the back. So, all in all, it's quite easy to do. It's a little bit difficult to explain, it's a little bit tricky, but you just want to have something which should look a little bit like this. That's this side. You want to have something which should look like this. This is this side, and this is the right side, the far side. So that's how things want to go. That's the first floor. Of course, if you like, you can also add in a doorway to the floor. I'd recommend simply just like 2 rows of block of quartz connected together with a quartz slab at the top, and like a glass block or a glass pane like just sat behind the slab, and then an actual entrance inwards. So something like that I would recommend for the actual entrance way inwards. You can have that any position in the hallway that you like. And then what you would then do, you would connect all of the cyan hardened clay together at the top inside of this floor. You would also add in, and also make sure to fill in the area where we have the hallways. So, right next to the room, next to the cyan hardened clay, you want to have a row of quartz slab that sits in line throughout the entire hotel. Like, whatever you do to one floor, you want to do to all of the others. So you can see that we have this row of quartz. We want the same up here, and that of course means that we also want to have rows of cyan hardened clay running through the actual hotel here. When it comes towards the back, we'll also have to place some quartz slab there, but we also want to have the cyan hardened clay walkways all the way through the hotel. So you can see that we have that down below. We want to have the same thing for this hallway, and if we take a look from the back, then we have this. And that is like an entire floor. That's how you make an entire floor. Once you've done that once, it should become easier and easier to add additional floors. So let's make another floor, shall we? So it's quite easy. Basically, you want to take every single quartz block that connects down to the ground left of where this entrance is, and you want to take every single quartz block and add an additional 4 quartz on top of these quartz blocks. So that'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4. And these 2 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we come to the back, we also want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've just got this last one to do on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just want to have something which should look like that, right? Well, the next thing we want to do is we want to connect the 2 right-hand pairs of quartz together using a layer of quartz slabs. So connect the 2 rows of quartz together using quartz slabs, like this. We then want to place a layer of cyan hardened clay all the way around the inside of the 2 rows of quartz that we've made. So basically, the exact same thing that we did just down below, we want to do that. And we want to also have that at the back also. It just wants to sit inside of the quartz block / quartz slab, like that. What we also want to do is we want to completely seal this left-hand side together using cyan hardened clay. This is going to once again create the hallway. It's going to create the actual wall of the hallway. That's exactly what we're after. So we just want to connect it together like this, as you can see. Now, things are a little bit different here. So we have to create the balcony. The balcony is quite simple. We want to take this quartz block that we have on the upper front right hand side. We want to extend this quartz block to the right using the slabs by 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's in line with that bottom row down there. We want to extend it backwards until it is in line with the back of the hotel. So extend it backwards and then connect it to the hotel. So you want to have a row which should look like this. What we now want to do is we want to create a row of cyan hardened clay that is just right of and inside this pillar of quartz. So it'll look like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4 coming upwards. So exactly what we did just down below. We then want to extend that cyan hardened clay across and behind and inside of the quartz slabs. So it wants to follow the same shape and it wants to connect all the way back here, like this, and you can even connect it together at the front. So you want to end up with something that should look like that, right? You can even connect it downwards at the back as well, so you can just form this. And you also want to connect this row of cyan hardened clay all the way over to the right. So if you connect that row of cyan hardened clay all the way over to the right like this, or towards the back is a better accurate description, you basically want to fill it in the same way that you did the hallway. This is going to be where the balcony is. This is where the actual balcony is going to, this is where we're going to walk from inside of the room onto the outside of the balcony. So that is where the room will be. We obviously need a floor to be able to do this, so fill in the bottom of the floor on the right hand side, and we may as well also do the same thing inside of the room. Fill it in using quartz block, cyan hardened clay, or a material of your choice. I found that birch wood also works nicely with these two materials. So this is where the actual balcony will be. Just to give a representation, if you place blue stained glass pane all the way around on top of the cyan hardened clay on the outer parts of the balcony, then you will see, there we go, then you'll see like where the edge of the balcony is. Let's just fill in inside the room here as well. Fill in inside the room using your block of quartz or whatever it is you like. Fill in inside of here to create the floor, and then I can show you what the entrances and slash exits, however you want to look at it, onto the balconies actually look like, because they're kind of interesting looking. And you might not guess exactly how I've done it, but I mean, you could always do your own version, of course. You don't have to necessarily follow my version, but I'll show you what I did to make the particular entrances out onto the balconies. So, just going to keep adding in this block of quartz. It seems endless, by the way. It seems like we are always filling something in, and it takes forever. But you know what, actually, before we create the entrances, something else that we have to do is we obviously have to fill in the front and the back of the room using our blue stained glass pane. So we just have to fill in the front and the back of the room with blue stained glass pane, like this. And you'll see that in many ways, this floor is very similar to the floor down below. The only difference is the balcony, pretty much. Oh, God, what have I done? What have I done? Oh, you've made a mess. What are you doing? So, the main difference is, if we take a look at it from the outside like this, the main difference is the balcony, as you can see. We have to create a way to get into the room now, don't we? So, the way that you actually get into the room, the easiest way to do it is if we start on the left-hand side of the balcony here, and we go right of this glass pane, and we leave a gap of 1, and then place a block of quartz, then place a row of 3 quartz slab going right, 1, 2, 3, block of quartz, leave a gap of 1, block of quartz, extend that block of quartz upwards by 2, 1, 2, and then to the right by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, extend that block of quartz downwards using a mixture of slab and quartz, Now, in the ground, leaving a gap of 1, place a block of quartz, and then move right by 3 with the slabs. 1, 2, 3. Then, place a block of quartz, and now you can kind of see how the entrance is going to pan out. So this middle bit is how you're going to walk in and out of the room. So I'm going to knock that out. I'm going to knock out the top row, and I'm going to replace it with blue stained glass block to make it look nicer. These two things are going to be windows here, so I'm going to extend these 2 blocks of quartz on the left and right. I'm going to extend them up each by 3. 1, 2, and 3. And 1, 2, and 3, like that. I'm then going to knock out a row of cyan hardened clay here, and I'm going to place blue stained glass paint inside of it, and then I'm going to place quartz slab inside of that, so we'll have something which should look like this. This looks a little bit weird, but if you were to fill in the next floor's balcony, then you'll see the sort of effect that we have. It has a very cool looking effect if you take a look at it. We might even alter the entrance into the room, because looking at the entrance, it actually looks a little... I'll have a look after I've filled in. So this is the floor of like the next floor's balcony, which is a weird sentence, but that's the entrance. You could make that a little bit nicer if you wanted. Like you could reduce the amount of... Nah, that looks fine. That actually looks fine. But this other window, I'm going to extend it upwards using the quartz blocks. I'm going to knock out this middle row. I'm going to use blue stained glass paint, and I'm going to top the window off with quartz slabs. So we'll have something which should look like that, yeah? And that is how you get in and out of the room. Onto the balcony at least. And then if we come to the hallway, we have to create an entranceway into the room. This is going to be identical to the one that we have down below. So it's basically going to be, actually, it'll be 3 blocks of quartz connected together at the top, and once again using this handy little blue stained glass pane like here, and that is going to be the entrance into the actual room. As you can see, it's identical down below. And what else we have to make identical is we also have to connect the left hand side of the hotel together using block of quartz. So we have to connect the left hand side of the hotel together using block of quartz. We have to connect the room together using quartz slab front to back like this. Have to connect that together like this. We have to connect the front of the hotel together using quartz slab, and we also have to connect the back of the hotel together using quartz slab also, like this. And then we can extend this row of glass pane upwards, and then we can fill in the top of the, we can fill in the hallway using cyan hardened clay, like this, as you can see. It's the same thing that we've already done for a couple of floors like that. And then we have to add in an elevator. So we extend up the center block of the elevator on the outside, extend it up until it is as high as the floor. We add blue stained glass block in quantities of 3 on top of the outer cyan hardened clays. This is to basically, we don't want it to be as high as the cyan hardened clay. It wants to be 1 block below. Then we want to add cyan hardened clay on top of the outer glass, like this. Then we want to extend the blocks of quartz upwards, and we want to extend the ladders upwards like this. You can even create a floor for the elevator if you so wish that looks like that. The last thing that we will have to do is we have to connect the elevator to the floor using cyan hardened clay, block of quartz, blah blah blah. I'm also going to create a little floor for the elevator here also, so like that. That can go there. Perfect. And then I'm going to place glass pane here. And I'm also going to place glass pane on the sides as well, just to connect the front and the back together. And this is always hard. It's always hardest to do the middle row of glass pane. Just connect the front and the back together like this. There we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much how you make an entire floor. If you like, you can also preemptively fill in the floor, like the floor with quartz inside of the room. So this is where each one of the rooms is going to be. Like the inside part of the room is obviously like this part. If you want, you can add some lighting. Like you'll notice that you have gaps in between the cyan. In the front and the back of the room, you can add some additional lighting using sea lanterns if you like. you can kind of like build it into the wall, and you can then, beyond that, like I said, you can just completely fill it in with block of quartz. You can fill the top bit in if you so wish. Now, that's completely up to you. You don't have to do that at all. If you just want this hotel as a display model, if you don't want anybody to actually go inside of it, then you don't have to fill all of the floors in. Just fill in, like, the first one. It's kind of up to you how you do it. That's very time-consuming, though, to make the floors. This is where the hotel takes an insane amount of time. Every single one of these floors probably takes like 10 minutes, so however many floors you want, take that, times it by 10, and that is how many minutes it's going to take. But there you go. That is another floor. Every single floor beyond this one is going to look like the one we've just made, and we'll make it in the exact same way. So that'll mean extending up each one of the blocks on the left-hand side, left of the entrance, extending them up by 4, every single one of them. That'll mean putting all of the cyan hardened clay inside of them. So that'll also include connecting them together also. So we have to connect the pairs together. I'm not going to make this entire floor with you, but just so that you have a rough way to start it off, like you start off with the quartz, you connect that together, you connect the left-hand side together using a block of quartz, and you connect the right-hand side together here using a layer of quartz slabs. So you connect the left-hand part of the room together with quartz slabs, and you connect the left-hand part of the hotel together with quartz block. We have to do the layers of cyan hardened clay that sit inside of the front part of the hotel and the back part of the hotel. So you want to do this on the front and the back. You want to connect the entire left-hand side together using cyan hardened clay. I'm just going to build the framework for this floor for you, and then I'll leave it up to you to like fill in all of the rest. But this is how your hotel is going to go. Basically, it's going to be this again and again and again and again. So we have that filled in. We then have to create the balcony. So we'll use quartz slab, and we'll use the previous balconies to measure where the balconies go. So we'll use every other previous balcony to kind of like measure where the balcony is going to go. And then from there, we can use the cyan hardened clay to trace along the inside of the balcony. And this will create a floor area for the balcony like this. And it will also allow us to make the wall, which is positioned here, you can see it down below. It'll allow us to make the wall, which is going to allow us to move from the balcony to the room and vice versa, like that. So it wants to be in this position, and we want to fill this in with cyan hardened clay. And of course, after we fill this in with cyan hardened clay, we will add the details of the floors. If you get in trouble with any of this, either rewatch the part of the video where I showed you how to make a floor, how to make that one, or look at a previous floor of your hotel and transfer it to that. But as you can see, that is pretty much the framework for this particular floor of the hotel. I obviously have to do the elevator as well. You guys know how to do that by now. So guys, you have everything you need to make as many floors for your hotel as you want. I am going to go away, and I'm going to add, I would say, probably about 6 more floors. I don't want to add an insane amount of floors because I obviously have to make these. But I have to make about 6 more floors on top of the hotel to bring it all the way up to 9. So I'm going to go away, I'm going to add all of the floors, I'm going to fill them in, I'm going to do all of that fun stuff, and then I can show you how to add the finishing touches to your hotel. Obviously, this next bit is going to take a really long time for me and for you, who has to add in however many floors you want. I always thought the cool number of floors would be 13, by the way. So just to repeat that, I'm going to repeat this floor, this one, over and over again until I have the amount of floors that I want. Hopefully you guys have everything you need to copy that and progress through your own hotel. Well, what do we have here? It seems like something's changed. I can't really tell just by looking at the hotel, but something has definitely changed a little bit. So, what took just a couple of seconds in video time actually took, I don't even know how long in actual time. It took quite a while to put all of these floors together. Yeah, but it is easy to do. It just takes ages. I have 9 floors in total. 9's a good number. For whatever reason, I like it. It sounds good to the ear, but it also makes the hotel pretty big. It makes it just the right size, although I wouldn't stop you adding 11 floors, 20, 50, 407 floors. I just wouldn't recommend it just because of how long it takes. 9's a decent number if you're looking for it to actually look good from a distance or close up like this. All of those floors, you guys know how to make them. If you don't, simply re-watch the first bit of me making the second floor over and over and over again, and I'm sure that you guys will be able to piece it together, but this is what it looks like. Now, once you have got that sorted out, guys, there are a couple of things that we're now going to do to put some finishing touches on the hotel. So, what we're doing now is we now want to put where you have the entrance on the upper part of the hotel, like where you have entrance to the hallways, we're going to make this look a little bit nicer. So we're going to, with our blue stained glass pane, we're going to take these 2 rows of quartz block and we're going to do rows of blue stained glass pane in front of these rows. We're going to extend them outwards by 1 row using the glass pane in front of each of them. We will then place a row of cyan hardened clay in front of each one of the rows of pane, like this. That's 1 layer of cyan, and then we'll do an additional layer of cyan in front of this right row, like that. Then we have the matter of actually filling this in with the pane as well. So if you want to make like an entranceway, say like if you want to like put some quartz slab like at the bottom here, or maybe even a little bit higher, so like here in line with the first floor, and then if you basically just place some blue stained glass pane in between these 2 rows coming all the way up to the top, and then we'll figure out what to do with the top a little later on. So if you just extend this outwards using your pane, your cyan, all of that stuff, it makes it look a little bit more interesting. It also adds an additional layer of depth to the left hand side of the hotel. It actually makes quite a bit of a difference. Then if you want to, you can just like, I don't know, you can take the top blocks here and you can change them into cyan hardened clay if you like, or you could even use a different color. It's completely up to you. It doesn't really matter that much what you do to it. When it comes to the inside, all you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the rows of pane that you have and simply like place blue stained glass pane on the ends of the rows of pane, and then that'll mean that you can't walk out from the hallways onto the actual like into this little bit that we've created, so you're not going to like fall to your death or anything like that. It just makes it a little bit safer. But yeah, that's one thing that you can do to make the place look a little bit nicer. Something else that you can do. So can you see here where we have these 2 blocks of quartz here on the right hand side of the base of the hotel? Transfer those to the left hand side of the hotel. So you can see where you've placed them on that side. Place them also on this side, just because symmetrical. That's why, just because symmetrical. Also place some blue stained glass pane in between the blocks of quartz like this. However, do leave like a gap to get in and out of like the pool area, but everywhere else, going all the way around like the terrace area for the top of the hotel, place glass going around it, connecting the blocks of quartz together, like this. It makes it look a little bit nicer. It introduces another colour that wasn't previously there. If you want to add a pool to the top of this thing, feel free to add a pool. I don't have to tell you that. So if you wanted to add a pool, say, I don't know, like leaving 3 blocks around everywhere, like if you wanted to place like a row of cyan that was like 3 blocks away from each one of the edges, and then did a similar thing, say, here. So you could add another row here, and then connect them together with like block of quartz. Why is that? Oh, of course, I'm stupid. So this can actually come 1 block closer here. I thought it was only 2 rows away. I should have actually been paying attention. But if you put like a pool here on the roof, it looks quite good. And then, of course, you just have to fill the thing with water. I'm sure you guys know how to operate water, so we'll just fill this in here, make it all nice and still. Looks alright, doesn't look too bad. And then if you put some like chairs around the thing, so maybe some like quartz stairs, or a different colour, different, it's up to you. Maybe some like quartz stairs or something like that. Maybe even move them in 1 row from the edges, because you can't put one in the middle because symmetrical. So something like that, and then something similar on the opposite side. Once again, choose a different colour. If you so wish, you can even do it on the end here as well, if you like. So they're kind of like, well, that was stupid of me again. You can even do the same thing on the end as well, if you like. Something like that. You could even add parasols, this, that, the other. You could do all sorts of different things. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much the entirety of the outside of the hotel. Like, that's all of the outside stuff. You now have all of the rooms ready and available to do whatever you want to them. If we come to the side, you can see that I've even extended the elevator as well. And if we come to the back, hopefully there's nothing bad here either. Nope, everything is exactly how it's planned out. And like I said, all you have to do now, if you want to decorate the inside, then I'll leave that up to you, because you can have it laid out in so many different ways. You could have something completely different down here in the lobby than what I had. But if you do want ideas for what to do with the lobby, I highly recommend checking out the beginning of the video. And the same goes for the room. I only did 1 room in the original, but if you want to check out what you can do with the actual bedrooms, the actual rooms people would stay in, then feel free to check that out. But that is the actual outdoor look of the hotel. Hopefully this video has either been inspirational, or you've managed to follow it block for block in such a way that you now have this awesome looking hotel. It really is a nice hotel, guys. It works wonderfully. It's very functional. It's awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to smack that like button. That's really important to me. It helps out the channel so much. It helps me out so much. It helps everything out, and it inspires me to make more city builds like this. Speaking of which, if you do like this sort of stuff, comment down below and let me know what you want to see in the future in regards to videos like this. Do you want to see more of this, less, whatever? Let me know. Also specify what sort of buildings you would like to see. Please do subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy this stuff. If you subscribe, please click the little bell next to the subscription button, and let me know that you have newly subscribed. I try my best to say hello back. I really do. Also, please do, if you want to check out any more of the channel, check out the card system in the description below. You'll find loads of playlists in there. If you want to make more city-related builds, that's where you want to go. So check out the playlist. You'll find the City Builds playlist. That'll show you how to make things like town halls, trampoline warehouses. It'll show you how to make apartment buildings. So awesome. Goes very well with the hotel. It shows you how to make skyscrapers. That's a Futurama headquarters. That's a little bit futuristic. All sorts of things for the cities. If you want to make anything out of public park, and a lot of these builds are transferable from the public park. If you want to make anything out of a public park, check out the park builds playlist. We have so many different things in here, right? All sorts of different houses and different weird builds that you could add to places. If you want to make wooden houses, check out the wooden house builds playlist. If you